Hi, this is Jackie's Reading Room, and I'm your host, Jackie P. Have you turned some pages today? Between them, Agatha Christie and Patricia Highsmith have written over 85 novels and over 20 short stories. Of course, they have also sold millions of copies of their books. If you visit any bookstore or library, or you go through anyone's bookshelves, chances are you'll come across one or more of their detective stories in their original English version or translated into one of many languages from around the world. In today's episode, which is episode number 25, woohoo, I'd like to paint a brief portrait of these two incredible writers who have had an invaluable impact on the thriller, crime, mystery, and detective story genre. Obviously, I cannot tell you every single thing, but hopefully I can give you enough information that you want to go beyond, and then it's going to be up to you to find what you want to read amongst that. You'll see that these two authors have a lot in common. So I'm going to start with Dame Agatha Mary Clarissa Christie, who was born in 1890 in England and who died in 1976 at the age of 85 years old. Um, Agatha Christie was a novelist, short story writer, playwright, poet, and memoirist, and she wrote in the what we call golden age of detective fiction. And if you need to be convinced, well, she did write 66 detective novels and 14 short story collections. And her two most famous detectives, as you may very well be aware, are Hercule Poirot and Miss Marple. Um, you also may be aware that her play, The Mousetrap, which is a murder mystery, has been the world's most, I guess, the longest running play ever. I was online and I saw that it was playing in the West End of London, and they had to have a break, I believe, for 1 year during the pandemic, and it's come back. So, at any given moment, I'm sure you can find a uh, a performance of the Mousetrap somewhere. You do know that Ms. Christie was called the Queen of Crime, and she remains, and I quote, the most translated individual author, which I think is quite phenomenal. One of the novels by Ms. Christie that I read is And Then There Were None. It is one of the top selling books of all time, which sold over 100 million copies. Other titles include The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, Death on the Nile. Right here, I have Murder on the Orient Express, Hercule Poirot Mystery, next to me, that I borrowed from the library. And this is one thing that she has in common with Patricia Highsmith, is that many of their books were made into films. So even lately, you may have seen there's been an adaptation of Death on the Nile. So you can definitely find a lot of versions of her novels made for the small or the big screen out there. Now, if you are interested in finding out about the actual writer herself, there is an upcoming title called Agatha Christie, A Very Elusive Woman, that is going to come out in January of 2023. It's a biography, so I think that would be super interesting. And I believe it was at the beginning of 2022, I read the historical fiction novel entitled The Mystery of Mrs. Christie, which actually was published in 2020 and written by Mary Benedict. And it sort of imagines what happened when Agatha Christie disappeared for about 10 days. This is some mystery of the author herself. Nobody really knows what happened there, but that book imagines what actually went on. I really enjoyed it. You know that I enjoy historical fiction. There is one of my episodes that's devoted to that, and I may actually have talked about this book. I believe I might have done that. And just recently, there's a book that came out that was called Marple 12 New Mysteries. And it is actually a collection of 12 stories with Miss Marple as the detective that were written by various authors that you may very well know, such as Ruth Ware, Lucy Foley. So I am very excited to read that because I think it would be kind of an other take on Ms. Christie's novels. Right here next to me, I have the novel called Closed Casket, and it was written by Sophie Hannah. She is a British writer who actually wrote a few Agatha Christie type novels, including The Killings at Kingfisher Hill, the new Hercule Poirot mystery. I believe I've seen that happen. For example, Anthony Horowitz, he wrote a few James Bond novels. So I think it's a super great idea when a current modern writer will have a shot at writing their own story, but based on the characters that we love so much. So Patricia Highsmith, on the other hand, was born a bit later in 1921 in the U.S., and she passed away in 1995 at the age of 74. And knowing that Patricia Highsmith had issues with, I believe, alcohol, I'm actually surprised that she lived till that age. She was a novelist, short story writer who focused on suspense, psychological thrillers, crime fiction, and romance. And she wrote under the literary movement called modernist literature. As a matter of fact, she did write some stories that involved lesbian women, such as The Price of Salt, which came out in 1952, which was later changed to Carol when it was reissued in 1990. And this book had an actual happy ending for its two lesbian characters, which was kind of a departure from the characters or the gay characters of that era, who often had very difficult times and either committed suicide or were killed, and so on and so forth. So I really like that she actually went and did that. However, The Price of Salt was originally written under a pen name, Claire Morgan, and I wonder if that was to sort of protect her actual name at the time. Miss Highsmith wrote 22 novels. She wrote numerous short stories, including the very excellent story called The Heroine, which I actually read with my students this fall. And it stars a very disturbed young woman. And I really enjoy when a character is a bit tortured or believes they are righteous, but as a reader, we can see that this character is totally flawed and would possibly need some help. So that's a story that maybe you want to try to find. I got it on the internet very easily. Patricia Highsmith is known mostly for her series of 5 novels featuring the character of Tom Ripley. He was introduced in The Talented Mr. Ripley, one of her novels, and you may have very well seen the 1999 version, film version of that novel, which starred a very young Matt Damon and a very young and handsome Jude Law. And so after doing this research, I want to go back to that film. I really saw it possibly when it came out, so I need to see it again. So that's one thing that Miss Christie and Miss Highsmith share. Many of their books were made into films or either TV shows. The novel Carol actually was made into a 2015 film by Todd Haynes, and many books have been written about both Miss Christie and Miss Highsmith. As a matter of fact, in April of 2023, you might want to write a note for that. There's a book that's called Devils, Lusts, and Strange Desires, The Life of Patricia Highsmith, that is going to come out. I think I'm going to go and get that for myself because I want to know more about the woman behind those novels. And I can't not mention her first novel, Strangers on a Train, which I actually have right here with me that I got from the library. It came out in 1950, and it was made into a very successful film by none other than Alfred Hitchcock in 1951. Both were successes, and I guess put Patricia Highsmith on the map of authors. So listen. Many of the current mystery and crime writers out there have been quoted to say that Miss Christie and Miss Highsmith have been influences for their writings. So why not go back to the beginning and find out for yourself what these two women have accomplished. It's quite a large body of work, so you have lots of pages to turn, that's for sure. So until next time, take good care of yourself and please share. Take care.